guys, how are you?
Well, good. I was going to tell a very short little story, but until once everybody else showed up, but I might as well start it now. I've been out collecting signatures, of course, because of the the nomination papers. It's a familiar ritual to us all. And I just walked down by the lake and started knocking on people's doors, and all I have to do is to mention Gail Huntress, and people just come running.
Oh, stop.
It's true. It's true. I swear to God. Everybody.
I'm surprised anyone even remembers me. It's been, like 4 years since, I've been talking to people in any concentrated way. I mean, I talk to random people now, but it's all because of problems, and I don't know, maybe they don't want.
No, Gail, you are very, very well remembered by everyone I've run into. You're treated as the Empress of Broadband. It's true.
I'll get business cards.
But I just thought you'd be interested to know that you certainly are well remembered and very much appreciated by everyone.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice to hear.
Even down by the lake.
Even there.
Gail, what is your cap there? J9?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I think it might have something to do with Title IX, like women's sports. My grandmother actually gave this to me, and so I don't know. No idea.
He was encouraging you.
Yeah. All right. Well, the gang's all here, so we can get started. Let's see. First order of business is we need to approve some minutes. I did make a change this afternoon on the Google Docs, Jim. I don't know if you saw those. These were for our executive session minutes.
I might not. No, I don't think I've seen them, but I'm glad you told me.
Okay, that's okay. So I'm sorry, I can't remember how we do this. Can we approve executive session minutes here? We can't, right? That was the whole thing, that we can only approve them in executive session.
I believe so.
Okay.
And we certainly wouldn't want to be discussing an amendment to executive session
True.
or an open session.
Unless we just approve them as they are. If no amendments were offered, then that would be, yeah, it must be okay.
Right, because then we could never, we're back into that catch-22 we were talking about. It like you're in a loop where you can never actually finish approving your minutes.
Yeah,
so
I would put the motion to approve them, and if we find out that we can't do it, which is very unlikely, then we can go into executive session just to redo it.
Do we have other minutes to approve as well?
we have our regular open meeting minutes, which are approximately 3 sentences or something from the 10th, and then our executive session minutes, which are a lot more extensive.
Okay,
so
this is from what date?
February 10th.
The 10th.
Last Thursday. So why don't we take these separately? If someone can make a motion to approve the regular open minutes from the 10th.
Motion, so moved. Motion on regular minutes.
Great. All in favor of approving the regular open minutes from the 10th?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Motion now to put to approve the executive if there's no need for any amendments.
It seems like there has been an amendment, hasn't there?
Oh, no, but we don't need to discuss it, do we? So I approve the amendment. Well, yeah, if other people want to think about it more, then yeah, it goes away.
The amendment was just adding the reasoning for our choice that we made last week to round out those minutes. So if anyone wants to take a look, we could just delay that and pick it up next month.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, why don't we do that? So everyone can take a chance to look at them.
Table my
And-
motion.
Table. Okay, great. All right, so Jim, I'm probably gonna need a reminder on that on the next
Yeah.
meeting that we'll need to reapprove or first approve those executive session minutes from the 10th.
It sounds like we're not going to go into an executive session today or tonight.
Correct,
No.
correct. There's no need to. And I have notified all of our vendors, so we can speak openly now about, our choice. Probably not the details quite yet until they're a little bit more public and we have an inked contract.
Yes.
But we can certainly talk about our choice.
Yeah. Mum's the word.
Okay. All right, let's get going with hut report. Anything going on there?
The hut was in fine shape when I visited it during the month, earlier in the month, and Tim Otto's Crocker's report for help tickets. There were only 25 help tickets, so what's that, one per day kind of rate. There were 3 phone issues that were like voicemail questions and stuff like that. The rest were administrative things, cancellations, reconnect to phone, kind of administrative things. And so the balance, maybe 20 items, were internet related. And there was one drop. There was one drop down, a broken drop, which got repaired. With the temporary repair, it noted that they hadn't brought they didn't have the right length drop, and so they were going to come back at some later date with the right size one, which is a little unfortunate because they can just look it up and see how many feet long the drop should be. So anyhow, only one drop to repair. So everything else, not much. They didn't have many issues or problems, is what seemed for that month. So,
Graham, was the drop problem fixed? It's somewhat temporary.
They said a temporary fix. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Temporary, subject to them coming back with the right length drop.
Do we have that correct drop length in the warehouse?
We should. We have all of them. We have,
Yeah.
we're up to date on all of our inventory. So it was, likely just a mistake. So I am, and can I just say how glad I am that we stocked up last year? And, whew, good choice. Yay, us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
With the continued supply chain, and also in the inflation, I think we saved a bundle. We bought $17,000 worth of equipment last year, and that was a great choice.
Yeah.
So
we done good.
Yep.
But interestingly, in a case like that, if it's there, screw up, whatever you want to call it, for not bringing the right cable, we pay for it because we're going to have to pay for another truck roll, right?
Yeah.
We are. Yeah. I and I don't think, it's not worth dithering about that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
From a big picture, though, if there's, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. Things are going to get better once we have a stable maintenance place in Sheld. It's just, we're in this very strange place where it's kind of an ad hoc situation of, calling out CertX, and they, I also, this is a good thing. They don't come out here very often. So I think the procedures and things, they just don't get practiced. We're getting these random technicians. It'll be better.
But it'd be nice if there was a way to have them have a little bit of a skin in the game so that they would be incentivized to think carefully before they come out.
Yeah.
Without slowing them down, of course.
Yeah.
Graham and Gail, do we know if for certain that Pechoric ever actually did the maintenance on the generator?
Yeah, well, someone came and worked on it because it was sending emails saying it was broken and then it was fixed, and it was it seemed like a maintenance, but yeah, I never talked to anyone at Pechoric. The scheduled runtime for the exercise is now earlier by an hour, so that was the other thing that changed. So they did something, you know, they had to interact in some way. And Gail, you had asked them to do their annual maintenance, right? Someone had talked to them.
Right. And he said, yeah, we're going out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we saw those changes.
It's pretty slack if they don't notify, though. I mean, that's kind of like Pechoric.
Of course, they could have sent a bill to the town.
Yeah. Still.
You know, we don't get, granted, pay for it, but you know, I'd rather get the bill and see what's on it and pay for it than to not know whether a certain service was performed or not. So,
yeah, since there's some uncertainty around this, let me just follow up with them and make sure that they went, and you know, also make sure get this in our ongoing calendar of annual tasks. I'm not going to trust them to do this every year, because you know they missed it last year, and so I think it's something we just need to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put on the calendar. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
One of us would be happy. Well, I would be happy to meet them on the day they do it if they just schedule it, and because you know I'd like to, you know, watch them do whatever they do to the generator.
Super exciting. You're living a really exciting retired life there, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's true.
Graham, we
Craig.
got to get you a hobby.
he's got a hobby.
This is your hobby.
It's
This
called
is
broadband.
it.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. So,
Yeah. All right. So there's a do you remember how they had to replace the temporary jumper cable for the Crown Castle?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So last night they were supposed to replace that, and it didn't go through because the jumper cable was late. So it didn't arrive until this morning. So obviously they couldn't do what they needed to do last night. So they're looking to do it tomorrow night, Thursday, late night. Shouldn't have any impact on customers because it'll switch over to our MBI circuit, which we know is working thanks to the test we did last month. You know, it'll be doing a low use time, so there won't, you know, the gig should be plenty to serve everyone. So anyway, that's in progress.
So Thursday night, Friday morning, is that
Correct. Yeah. So 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Friday?
Friday morning. Yes.
well, I hope they are going to look at what's wrong with the jumper that was working before, and you know what happened to it. You know, it was still in the hut when I looked the other day. I could see that they just unplugged it and run a shorter jumper between the two things. So so they have the opportunity to examine that. You know, and I would think that they would want. I would think they would want their admin sys guy to know what he did wrong, because otherwise he's going to keep doing whatever it was. It's almost impossible that it was totally coincidental that the thing failed just at the moment when he was there. So you know, so he needs to improve his hut side manner, or his bedside manner, whatever it is, with it is yeah. So anyway, just
Yeah. Tim couldn't meet today for our weekly meeting, but it's on my list to follow up with him when we speak next.
This is a fiber jumper?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's where the cable comes from the outside plant and has to get into the Juniper equipment that splits out the that then feeds into the calyx.
Right.
Okay.
Two things go into the Juniper: the MBI and the Crown Castle. circuit.
All right, I'm still waiting on the audit of how many ports we have left in FSA 04 and the other FSAs.
And just to be clear, I think pre-patching, as we discussed for the outside box, is a good idea for all of the, what was, Gail, did you tell me there's 40 addresses that haven't got patches in the Wyola
Correct.
outside box? But I would suggest not pre-patch, having the splitters available in the hut for the other 3 FSAs is a good idea, but pre-patching all of the addresses there's a lot of operational tradition that says don't pre-patch things that may never be used, because number one, it's a waste of effort in the first place, and number two, when you're actually turning on connecting up for a new service, you've got something that got put in a year ago or 3 years ago and never got tested has to then be checked anyhow. It's kind of better to put in a new service as at that point, and the hut's easy to get to, and a new drop has to be a truck roll anyhow. So it's better if they just know what they're doing and what they're putting in. So anyhow, so pre-patching in the hut is not a good idea for according to best practices for a lot of things like that.
Right, but I don't think that was ever the plan, though. We're only gonna do the splitter patching in the distribution box.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes some places have everything pre-patched, and it's those places where they don't have technicians, basically, and they want to have it. So, well, theoretically, we can just turn something on, but it's not in our interests. Just in case anyone suggests that to you,
Yeah,
pre-patch
okay.
them all now. I wouldn't do it.
So, are these the spare ports on the MSTs that we're talking about?
No, these are not the spare ports on the MSTs. They're not typically, the spare ports aren't typically spliced until someone asks for them. No, these are the addresses that never requested service, and therefore at the so there is no tail coming out of a splitter to feed into their cable at the hut. So their cable comes all the way back to the hut, but it stops right at the
okay.
at the outside plant fiber.
Okay. Yeah, I realize now what this is. Yeah.
All right, Steve, I'm going to change the order a little bit, and we're going to end with the financial report and our budget discussion, because that's kind of going to be the biggest thing. So I'm going to get through the rest of the punch list first. Let's see. So I notified the 3 vendors of the switch. Matt Crocker was disappointed. He sadly used the words devastated.
Imagine.
Yeah. Sheld is thrilled. So we had just a brief email exchange about kind of next steps, and I'm going to move forward with a contract. They asked, well, we have an intergovernmental agreement with Leverett already that we're using. But I think what I'm going to do is ask for Leverett's contract and use ours instead as the base. And then if there's anything good in the Leverett contact, add it to ours. I think we have a good contract, to start with. So I'll just do a comparison and use the best out of both. I'll mark things that come over from the Leverett IGA, so you all can understand what came from what, like what's original with Crocker that we just modified a little bit, and what is our kind of like new parts added from Leverett. Okay. Westfield Gas and Electric wrote back thanking us for the notification. And they said they want to know more about why they lost, why they didn't win. So I said I'd be glad to talk to them, but not for another 2 months until our contract is signed and, all open and in public. So I'll have that conversation with them.
That's the easy conversation.
The short
It is
answer
an
is
easy
we're
conversation. Yes,
Somewhat.
yes, it is. So one thing I just realized is that we need to talk about the ring protection plan with them that we've been pursuing that no longer serves us. I didn't want to speak to them out of turn about it, but does anyone see any reason to keep pursuing the ring protection plan and backhaul sharing with Wendell and New Salem? I don't see
Well,
any
I think
benefit.
we should be good neighbors and think about whether there's some other arrangement we can do that will help them. But that's it.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. Well, we did pay for the initial thing, right? A couple of $1,000. Is that, did they bill us for that yet?
No, we didn't pay it.
No, this might get a little tricky, but I think if we get into a thing about it, we just pay it, because we did sign a contract saying, yes, we'll pay for this engineering study. The cost of it is $3,038.
Yeah. Okay. Just out of interest, the that sketch they sent us was totally like one was the Google map of just the 30,000 foot view from Google view of the Quabbin with roads on it. And the other part was absolutely like nothing to it. I mean, it just showed an MBI thing on the edge. It didn't say where. And it showed Crown Castle. It was absolutely like a 5-minute non-specific generic. It didn't really have any engineering in it, as far as I was. For the amount of time it took them to produce it, there was nothing in it. So anyhow, that was.
Well, we haven't paid them anything. We don't have a bill from them yet. So
No. We should pay it if they send us a bill, but they really, as we continued to scratch our heads, we weren't really, but somehow or other, they weren't working on that much at all.
No, they did not, deliver something complete in a timely manner. So listen, if they bill us, how about this? I'm gonna push back a bit on it and say something like, we didn't get the engineering design that was stipulated in this contract in a timely way, nor was it very complete. We understand that we said that we would pay for this, and we'll, if you want to bill us for the engineering time that you spent on it, 1/3 of the time that you've spent on it, because it's other towns are going to pay for the rest of it. We're glad to pay that, but we prefer not to pay this whole amount.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. To ask them how much that schematic they sent us, how many hours that took. It looks like 2 hours of work, So
yeah, let's wait and see if we even get the bill.
Yeah, they may not, because they really didn't deliver anything.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
But I'm just thinking more about what Craig said. I don't feel bad at all about Westfield, but New Salem and Wendell, particularly New Salem, if we could help, if we could help them out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm good about that.
What I'd like to do is I'm just going to email them separately and not include Westfield in it. So, I'll Ray and Kathy and Mary Ellen, and just let them know of our recent choice, that we're not pursuing this, and we're very glad to help them out to come up with IRUs to do arrangements that are mutually beneficial.
Mhm.
This does not mean we're not willing to work with them, or
Perfect.
So, yeah, just close that loop with them.
And it's possible that it might not even be a mutually beneficial thing if it's something for them to Crown Castle. We have the we have the spare dark fiber for everywhere to everywhere. So, it doesn't even have to be beneficial to us.
Mutually beneficial in the sense that we're going to charge them a little bit for an IRU for dark fiber.
If it just went through our town, yeah, there would be there should be a service thing if it was just to their benefit. That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, we can work out those details when the time comes, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
let them know that we're open to all this, that this does not mean a closing of any kind of relationship with them.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll meet with Sheld, and we'll start working on the transition plan. I'll keep you updated on that. And again, the priority for now is getting the contract done. But the whole project plan and the transition will come kind of simultaneously or directly after.
And we should, Gail, draft up some sort of, press release thing that toots our horn, I guess, that because it won't be noticed if the bill just changes one week. It should be flagged, right? That this is a really good deal in an inflationary 3 years. That we're So I mean that.
Yeah, certainly there'll be a whole kind of marketing push in June, letting all the customers know what's happening, why it's happening, what they can expect on their bills, what they're going to have to do to change to voicemail. So that's going to be actually a pretty large part of the transition plan. Internally, I'll have something ready for the 28th for our meeting with FinCom, because
maybe going out ahead of all the instructional bit would be a news releasey thing that just sort of says, hey, we're changing, but it's all good news, just to give them the summary, the highlights, because if we just send them the 5-page package of what
yeah, definitely it'll be like a multi-step communication of first just the announcement, details to come, then here's what you can expect on your bill, then later, like, here's how to set up your voicemail. So I don't see it as a one and done communication. It really will be kind of a marketing rollout.
Yeah, good. Some bragging. We've got bragging rights at this point, I think.
Gail, our meeting with the FinCom, you just said the 28th. I have the 22nd written down.
Let me check my calendar. I could just have that wrong in my head.
Kim, maybe you would have something on that.
You are correct. Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is in my calendar is the 22nd. I don't know why I had the 28th in my head. Maybe wishful thinking. We've been meeting a lot.
I don't have a time listed. Do we know what are
6:30.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's when the meeting starts. That's the way they've been starting recently.
Okay.
So it would be in that mix. I think are we the only one on for that evening? I'm pretty sure we are. So it could start right at 6:30 potentially.
All right, hold on one second. Let me I'll check the town calendar and see what their agenda looks like.
Those
You're
agendas
not posted. Whoops.
Yeah,
Okay.
they wait till the last minute to post anything. That's not well done.
Okay. All right. Well, plan on 6:30-ish. I'm sure they'll have, group business to go through, and you can just, mute and do email, which is how I start all my other meetings. All right, why don't we move to our financial discussion then?
Okay.
Steve, do you want me to bring up our most recent
I,
budget?
why don't I do a screen share?
You want to do it?
Because
You got it.
I've created a new version today.
Yeah, I thought maybe you
First-
had. Okay.
I can just report that our current balance is 90,223, Jim, if you want that. So-
That was what again?
90,223. So let me just see now if I can try a screen share. Oh, it's giving me way too many things here to choose from. Okay, yeah. Okay. And so I've made some revisions to the budget we were working on last month. And I highlighted in yellow things that were either changed from significant changes from the last time we looked at it, significant changes from significant changes from last year. Maintenance, I'm suggesting keeping it at the 60,000. Even though, you know, we've never come close to that. I thought, okay, there's a place we want to have some cushion. That's always the thing that we're worried that we might need more for. So keep that at the 60,000. Insurance, I bumped up. I added 10% to it all. I noticed last year we were at 12,000, didn't need that much. No, I'm sorry, we were at 10. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I bumped that up to 11,000. Backhaul, the figure I put in for backhaul is the shelled pricing for the 3-year Crown Castle pricing, figuring that we're still in a negotiating phase on this contract. We'll go high on that. That's roughly equal to what the Crocker charge would be if we'd stayed with Crocker with the increased backhaul.
Smart, good.
And then rolling down some more, the electronics depreciation that we've been talking about. After reading Graham and Jim's suggestions, and then looking at what you sent out today, Gail, the spreadsheet with the table with the pricing, how we arrived at that figure, I felt we had a couple things that were low, potentially low in that. One was the labor for installing the ONTs and routers in-house. I just thought, I wonder if we really could get a contract for that price. And also we were pricing 750 units. And I thought, well, at this point, if we were buying new, I'd say buy 800 because we're already over 760 customers.
Sure.
So I just added, I bumped the 750 to 800 and I doubled the labor cost for in-house and added it to what we had, and it came out to 45,000. And I thought, well, let's just for this year, bump that up there. And then going forward over the course of the next year, let's revisit the whole depreciation. Now that we're be working with Shell, we're familiar with and HT&E, very familiar with Calix equipment, we can come up with a better idea, more current prices for things. But at this point, let's go a little higher there.
So can I
Yeah.
You're budgeting $100 per installation labor?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know what it cost us? Do you know what it cost us per installation on average for setting up the router?
Well, see, the last time it was part of the whole drop contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like the cost to come out, put in the drop line, and then delivered the ONT and the router, and they connected them up.
I think the increase is strategically good,
I agree.
The amount that was in the budget there for the labor was 30-something thousand dollars. And I thought, I don't think we're gonna get anybody a contract with a competent installer to go to 800,000 houses in town for $37,000. So
I think we won't need to, we'll need the money for something in that, and I think that's
All right. I'm just trying to think critically about this.
yeah. So, to refigure this, other big issues are, well, just when are we going to make this upgrade overall? Is it 7 years? Is it 10 years? That's something to be thinking about over the course of the next year. Are we replacing ONTs or not? The labor would be the same, whether you're sending somebody to replace both an ONT and a router, or just to replace the router.
Right.
So
I'm pretty sure we won't want to replace the ONTs because they're 1 gig routers, and there might be in the next generation there might be the new routers might be good for 4 gig, but in 8 years' time we don't want anyone in town to have the possibility of pulling down 4 gig because unless they're a business class or paying more for it.
Well,
So
you never know.
well, I think Moore's law won't take us that far. The FCC still says 25 megabits per second is high speed. So I think the 1 gig ONTs are safe, and the next generation of our HUD equipment will probably give us the option or it'll give our customers the option of getting a business class and putting in a new ONT that's more whiz bang. But I don't think we we need to or want to get anyone above a gig unless we're able to meter them.
The only reason I could see for upgrading the ONTs earlier is if there's super benefits from management from new ONTs, right? But getting to your point, if we don't replace the ONTs, if we're only replacing routers, customers can replace their own routers. We don't need somebody to come install a router.
I think there'll be a huge, even though I haven't looked up whether the GigaSpire, the Calyx router will pick up your mesh, your Wi-Fi mesh, but I think there'll be huge advantages of the married sort of triad of Calyx in the hut, ONT, and then Calyx router. It's a very impressive combination. So
anyway, the reason I think it's fine to be conservative and set money aside early, except that in X years we're going to say, well, we have way more than we need. Let's stop including this in the fee. And then we'll go, let's say we go for a 10-year replacement. So we go 2 years where we don't put anything into the reserves. Then we replace, and now we have to add back on the fee for the next generation replacement.
But remember, we won't be paying debt in 8 years' time. There'll be no debt payments after 8 years. Is that true? So
that is true. We're going to have a huge chunk of our budget back.
Yeah, so we can.
All right. That makes me happier then. That makes me happier.
Yeah, we've got a lot of wiggle room at that point, I think.
We don't want to be going up and down in our pricing.
Yeah, but sure. I'm thinking about what you're saying, that routers, people can replace their own. Well, yeah, we could all replace our own, and a lot of other people could. But I think there's plenty of people in this town that would actually be that might be a stretch. And that's when you start, you might generate more in the way of service calls than you would have if you just had it professionally changed. I'm throwing that out there. I
think in the industry, it's not uncommon for companies. I know this happened with HughesNet when I had it. when there was a hardware failure, they just shipped me a new one. And I plugged it in and we were off and running again. And
It was
and
coax, wasn't it? You don't have
it
to
was a
worry.
modem. Yeah, it was a modem.
Yeah.
But
Modem
the
road.
same idea applies, right? That they sent me a new one, and that was it. And it wasn't because I was a geek. I mean, that was their standard practice.
Yeah.
A little different with fiber, I think, because of the issues of dirt and dust, and you kind of you want
No,
it.
no. I'm talking about replacing only the modem. That's just Cat 5. There's no fiber.
Yeah. Your modem, but our modem is the ONT.
No,
Well, no.
you were
Second,
suggesting, were you not
replacing-
suggesting a minute ago? Were you not suggesting a minute ago that we not replace the ONTs this round? We only
Yes, yeah, I
replace
know. I think we don't need to change the ONTs, the modems, in this round.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're proposing we would only replace the routers,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that is something that
Oh, okay. Yeah.
probably
Sure.
customers do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I suspect, I haven't talked to Sheld, of course, but I suspect that they'll give a fantastic presentation that's absolutely compelling on what all the benefits are of us recommending and probably buying the Calix matched router. So I believe just the stuff that I've read so far, I think there's going to be compelling operational benefits, headaches resolved, a level of just with the metadata, not with any intrusive sort of knowing anything except what's not running and what is running. That's going to be a pretty it would be hard to say no to that level of
We're not deciding right now what router to buy. We're questioning whether we're going to budget for $100 per home for installation. That's the question on the.
All right. Well, I would leave it in there because I think the inflation and things cost more. I don't know. I think.
All right. I'm not opposed to spending the money, putting the money on the rates.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned about fluctuating things and
Well,
our debt service going off at that second round makes me happier. Right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, next line item is debt service. And this is the most significant change. Last year, our debt service was 235,000. This year it's 100,000 because the bank is paid off. And so that is a huge reduction in our cost for next fiscal year.
And to be clear, that's sort of non-optional. I mean, that is the maximum we can pay, right?
Yeah.
Correct. No payoff early.
We have a 10-year payment schedule.
Right.
The payments will be for the next, remaining 7 years on that debt and the date that it's due, and it gradually reduces down to like the final payments, I think 89,000.
That's great.
And so then we get into the emergency reserve fund, extraordinary unforeseen. So right now I have it set at the minimum that it calculates out to. But with the note here that there's 73,459 from our retained earnings are going to immediately go into that account on July 1st. So, and I sent out a spreadsheet a while back of what our emergency reserve funds had been, what the appropriations were and what we spent from it over the previous 3 years. And, we're never been anywhere close to that 73,000. And so that gives a bottom line here of an MLP fee of $38, which is down from 52 last year. And then down below here, I've got the subscriber monthly cost, the current year and the new year, which is $15 lower per month, 14 of the MLP fee reduction plus $1 reduction because of the Sheld lower pricing. I know people were concerned last month that making such a big change all at once. But one way to look at this, gets back to that debt payment we made last year. The largest single expenditure we had in fiscal year 22, which is still the current year, was that $130,000 principal payment on the ban.
Yeah.
When you look at the subscriber fees, $1 a month in subscriber fees is about $9,000, generates about $9,000 a year.
Yeah.
$1 a month, $12 a year, 760 subscribers comes out to $120. That dividing the 130,000 by 9,000 gives you $14.25. Current, all of our subscribers are currently paying $14.25 a month towards that $130,000 debt payment that is now been paid and is gone.
Yeah, yeah, this is fabulous.
Yeah.
So I have to feel very confident, or I do
Yeah.
feel confident in reducing the subscriber fee by $14, because that's gone and it's nothing that's going to come back.
Yeah.
And as I say, before I did that, I did bump the maintenance back up to the 60 from the 50. Say, okay, let's leave that additional little cushion there.
That's fine.
It's sort of thing that goes up. Backhaul, put the highest figure we can expect backhaul. Hopefully we get a better deal.
So Steve, the down where you say the current year I pay for internet plus phone $87.90, is the rest of it tax or something? What I pay $95 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
This is all before the taxes and fees.
got it. Right.
Yeah. That's, whether it's us, Verizon, a cable provider, they all have that plus taxes and fees.
Okay. Yeah.
I tell you to the penny what that's going to be, because there are all these different things that change.
Yep. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is plus taxes and fees.
Yeah. And keeping the maintenance thing a little high, it's always obviously there'll be some years where a lot of stuff gets knocked down, and also one has to cover the even if it's an insurance job, as Leverett points out, you've got to the insurance money doesn't turn up for about 6 months, and so you've got to cover that for a while.
Right. So, if we don't have a whole lot of maintenance next year and we have this, 73,000 that's going to be put into our emergency reserve as well. We're getting, kind of 73,000 plus 60,000 is what, 133. And I like that number because what I was going to suggest today is that we try to keep in reserve about 10% of our total build costs. I realize it's kind of an arbitrary number, but 10% of 1.4 million is 140,000. So, if we kind of 10% of our whole network could get ruined and we could cover it again with insurance and all that. But that seems, I don't know, reasonable to me.
Sounds good to me, sir.
So,
how much was that, Gail? You said 73,000 plus what?
Plus this 60,000.
60,000. Okay.
Yeah. The 60,000 maintenance. That's not going to be the case. We're going to use some of it, but we're inching towards keeping in reserve 10% of our total network costs. And I'd like to just kind of see that is the number we hold on to in our reserves.
%10 is nice and solid.
Yeah.
I'm curious, did the number really come out to 59.95? Because that's a salesman's number. Or did you
It's such a
round it?
salesman's number.
Well, but 74.95 is also kind of a salesman's number.
Well, and we generated that number because of that. I'm asking, did the spreadsheet really come out 59.95, or did you round it to that?
No.
All right. I would have expected, 59.83 or something like that.
Well, 59.9, okay. I'm our monthly fee at a full dollar amount.
Oh, okay. That
I'm
explains.
keeping that $38. I could have made it, it could have been $37.73 if I made this 423. I could make that go to 0. And
Good
then
enough.
38, it would be an odd number.
Good enough. So you did tweak a little bit. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not complaining at all. I think it's
And
perfect.
the $59.95, it's our fee plus $21.95 that we got from his Sheld's figure. So Sheld picked a salesman's fee there.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah. So this is great. I think
Yeah,
it's,
this is good.
I'm not worried about us not having enough money. I think it's going to run well. And I think this is sustainable.
Yeah, it looks great. Thank you, Steve, for all of your work on this and for
Yeah.
sending out all that information in advance. Yeah, this is really fantastic.
It
We're going
is
to become even more popular than we already are.
for 5 minutes.
For a whole 5 minutes, and then they're gonna hate us because of the phone transfer stuff. They're gonna hate us.
Yeah.
Just hate us.
Yeah.
But I don't
let me
know.
just ask about the phone transfer. Is it only the voicemail mailbox that is going to be the difficult point? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be seamless except for that, your number is gonna transfer, everything's gonna be the same, minus setting up your voicemail box and any of the special features that you may not have anymore. And then you're gonna have to call and say, why isn't this happening? And then they're gonna say, you have to pay for it.
And anybody who claims about the switchover, you just say, look, you're saving $180 a month.
A year,
I mean,
yeah.
excuse me, a year.
Only $12 of which is because of the switchover, but we don't.
Yeah, I know. We don't have to tell them that.
We don't have to, yeah.
And poor old
Except that this is
Steve,
being-
poor old Steve's
except
not going to
this
do
is
so
being-
well with the
Except that this is being
crocker.com.
recorded.
Yeah.
Steve, what are those figures? The 74.95 and 87.90, the potential new rates versus what was not?
Is it- Okay, Jim, I can email this to you if that would.
Yeah, maybe 59,
Yeah, so the internet only will be $59.95.
59.95 and
Phone back at
72.90.
$72.90. But I'll just email this this spreadsheet. I'll email this around to everybody.
Great,
59.
thank you.
Very good. Yeah.
Do we want to put these numbers in minutes yet? Is this something that we're
Oh, yeah,
allowed to do now?
I wanted to bring that subject up. I just want to
Sending
say,
this to the FinCom in a week, so
I don't think we should bring this subject up at all with FinCom. I just, if we lower rates, we ought to wait until the transition with Shell is complete and everybody's up and running and things are smooth and we get a sort of a first taste of what's of our relationship with them and you see if there's any unexpected surprises, one thing or another, and then consider bringing it down as opposed to, and I'd be very conservative about it.
Well, we don't have the option for that.
I
We
mean,
have to set
we
the
can,
rates now.
okay. I can take this table, this portion of the sheet out. Total monthly subscriber cost. We don't have to show this. But everything above it is their appropriation, which we do, I mean, that's the appropriation that's going to be presented to town meeting. I think that's what we have FinCom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just stick to the budget for the,
Yeah,
FinCom
so-
and nothing else. Don't
Yeah.
give them more information than just, because all they're interested in is budget stuff.
Yeah.
And so this speculation is just not fruitful. I think at the FinCom meeting, we should wait on this.
But
Well,
send it to
the
us.
fact that our
Send it,
debt- the fact that our
send it to
debt
us,
service
Dave.
is going-
What?
Send it to
the
us.
fact that our
Dave.
debt service is going down is non-negotiable. We don't, I mean, that happens mathematically, we don't have any control over that. Right? But I'm struggling for the right words here, but the debt service is going down, period, end of story.
Oh, sure, yes. Well, all of that is true, but the discussion of changing the subscriber rates and the speculations that we're now doing about that very possibility and how much it should be in one thing or another, I think that should be, we should not make that generally known. I think that needs to be held off until
Because why, Jim?
what?
Because why? For what reason?
Well, we're just going through this transition from one ISP to another, and I know the numbers look good and all the rest of it, but
Yeah, so Jim, are you concerned that something like during our contract negotiations is going to go horribly wrong? We may have to pull out of the deal, and we may have already promised a reduction in $15, and then, okay, worst case scenario, it goes horribly wrong and we end up back with Crocker and we're not lowering our rates. Is that the fear?
Well, no, I don't think that's likely to happen for all the obvious reasons, but as many wise sages have said, if you put out the information that's going to go down and it doesn't, and then you have a real public relations problem on your hand. I would just be conservative about this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But whether we stay with Crocker or go with Shell, that debt service
Still goes away.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Either way.
Talk about it in a general way. The rates will probably drop. We're not certain how much. I just think we ought to be.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Well,
So what? Yeah. Why don't we do this for now? That we present this budget to the FinCom and tell them we're going to drop rates at least $10 for subscribers. We don't know the exact amount yet until we're through with final contract negotiations.
Yeah.
So that they get the good news. And I think no matter what happens, we can deliver on that because our debt service is gone, right? No matter what, we can deliver on that.
Yeah. At least $10.
And
Yeah.
the figure that I put in for backhaul is very close to Crocker's backhaul charge, within $1,000 or so. We hope to negotiate a better deal on backhaul, but I'm putting the high figure in. But the other thing I've done here is I've made another tab and I've just took out that portion at the bottom that compared the total subscriber cost. This is just now all it's here is what we're looking for an appropriation.
Yep. Oh,
Yep.
Steve, there's one thing in here that is not included, the 2,400 for
No, it's
the
in there.
network monitoring. Oh,
That's
you
in
got it in there? Oh, look at you. All right, nice. Okay.
I saw us go by that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's something that increased from last year.
Yeah.
But the truck retainer fee is gone, 12,000
Yeah.
gone for that.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Okay. So we don't give them the exact numbers until we sign the paper. Okay. Yeah.
but this is what we're looking for an appropriation.
Yeah.
No, it's not a real appropriation because
Right.
they're paying it,
Yeah.
but under the enterprise fund law, town meeting has to approve it has to appropriate.
Yeah.
But the subscriber fee is not part of the town.
Right. That's our
meeting.
decision.
It's out of the town budget. So we don't have to share that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the time comes and it's a significant reduction, let's really go big with that. But
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but at this point, we just don't need that to be out there because it's nothing the FinCom is going to approve or disapprove, or town meeting is going to approve or disapprove.
Yeah.
Mhm. Which is why I would just keep to the basic information about the budget and not anything that, subscriber rate reductions and the rest of it. I just would be
Convinced-
cautious
you
about.
convinced me.
Yeah.
At least $10. That's what you can say.
But I don't think we need to say that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jim, that we can just say, here's what I'm talking at the FinCom meeting in a week.
Mhm.
Okay.
We can just say, here's what we're looking for an appropriation at town meeting.
I mean, they're going to want to compare it to last year's appropriation.
Yeah, I think, I put last year's in there. That's useful.
I would hope that they would look across to compare 346 to 473,000.
Yeah, and if they're astute at all, they're going to ask. So we should have we need to have this answer ready of, yes, it will be
It's-
reduced by at least $10.
Well, I mean, I've got
I think that's
MLP,
fine.
MLP monthly fee of 38 is there. They can say, well, what is it this year? And say it's 52, and they can do the math.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
I'm okay with talking about this FinCom. I just, in the minutes right now, we just don't want to yet say our final price.
Yeah, right. Oh, absolutely.
And we can tell FinCom, this is our budgeting at the moment.
Yeah.
But it depends on contract negotiations,
Mhm.
and they'll understand that.
Yep.
And
All right.
we're setting a good bar for the other towns, though.
Yeah. We're still the ones to beat. We're still the ones to beat, aren't we?
We are. Leverett's
We
gonna go,
really are, that we've got a couple things going for us. We've got the lowest fees and the highest take rate. I realize that they're linked, but yeah, it's good stuff. It'll be interesting to see if the new cell tower, going in has any change at all in our subscriber, but I kind of don't think
No.
it will. Like
It won't, Gail.
it
won't.
can't compete with, a $60 a month for
Well,
awesome
that-
internet.
Gail, the cell tower is, is for a nationwide a system. It has nothing to do with local cell phone usage or coverage, unless Verizon shows up and says, we want to rent space on that tower and provide
Exactly.
local cell phone coverage, which is very, very, very unlikely to happen.
I think they'll turn up, Jim. I think they weren't going to turn up when they had to build their own cell tower, and they'll.
Graham, I disagree. I have negotiated. Wait, everybody, wait. I have negotiated with these people, with a tower resource management, with AT&T, because they're going to put a cell phone tower on my company, like on my property. I've been down this road. I've talked to the most recent engineers from.
I know your reasons. I know all your reasons, Jim. I'll bet a herbal tea on. I don't think you drink coffee either. So.
No, I don't drink coffee.
And I think Starlink is falling out of the sky, right? Did I hear that a bunch of Starlink?
The solar storm blew up a bunch of their satellites, which is
so sad.
great news to me.
So sad.
Yeah.
Let me throw in something on cell towers to agree with what Jim is saying. 10 years ago, AT&T built a tower less than a mile from my house. It's just over the line in Pelham. It's high up there. They brought in underground power and conduits and a transformer for the power. There's 4-meter boxes on the side of it. So it's a 198-foot tower. And then AT&T abandoned the project. They sold the lease over to American Tower. It's sitting up there with unused. It would provide excellent coverage in Shutesbury.
That's
They could come in and use that, and they would just have to come up with a rental agreement. They wouldn't have to invest anything in the construction, and it's sitting there on. About 5 years ago, I was talking with a lawyer from Verizon who was working on a contract in Leverett to try and set up a tower there. And I said, hey, if Verizon's looking for a good site for a cell phone, I gave him a picture of it with the FCC registration number for the tower. I said, let him put something up there. He said, hey, that's good. And he told me he turned it over to the people at Verizon. Neither Verizon nor AT&T nor T-Mobile have done anything there. And
They're not, Steve, I totally agree. They're not going to show up. They are not going to show up. I met with a guy from Consolidated Tower. They're the ones that own the big tower in Pelham. And he had a map of the whole of our area and how many customers would be served if cell phone coverage came to Shutesbury. And he said, you guys, you're just too small potatoes. There are just not enough people to support the cost of doing this for Verizon, T-Mobile, any of those folks. That you're just too small potatoes. And I said, oh, well, what can I say? That is the current wisdom. I don't think we have to worry about this one.
It's the same reason it's the same reason we had to build our own network.
Exactly. Yeah.
Comcast and everybody else was not interested.
Yep. I'm not terribly worried.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any other business for tonight? All right. Well, let's adjourn. So next time we'll see each other is next week for the FinCom meeting. It is, well, I know Jim's going to be there. Steve and I need to go, but Craig and Graham would love to have you, but don't feel obligated. I know we've been meeting a lot lately, so consider it an optional.
I will not be there. I'm going to be in San Francisco.
Oh, yay. Excellent.
You're going to be where?
San Francisco. And that morning I have to get up at 5 a.m. for a conference call with some people in Italy. So I'm not going to be functioning.
No. Okay.
Well, if this hobby is the only thing going for me that night, then I'll chip in. Maybe I won't make it. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Up to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gail and Jim, I'm trying to remember, did we send an earlier budget proposal to the FinCom?
Steve, yeah, what you ought to do is Bob Groves and I to a lesser extent, we complain all the time that committees and departments don't that FinCom gets the information at the last minute. And so if we just walk in and present them with this, it would be nice if we, if like what you ought to do is present this to, or send it to Jim Walton, and he'll distribute it to FinCom folk. And whatever it is that you're going to present, this
this page we're still looking at here. This is what I'll send.
Yeah, whatever you want them to see and to understand and to grasp, then send it to him by the end of the week or something like that, so that he can forward it to everyone, so that next Tuesday they will have had at least a couple of days to look at it. In a way, it really doesn't make a lot of difference because our finances are totally outside of the town's budget and the money that they're going to spend.
But if we're meeting, if we're going through the motions of meeting with them, then I agree. People should have a chance to look at it. I don't think I have an email from Walton.
Well, I'll send you one.
Okay.
I'll send you his address. That would be the most. I mean, you could send it to Becky, but I'd rather you not do that, because then it's just one additional step. I would send it to Jim, because it's a FinCom matter, really, and between the MLP and FinCom, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with copying Becky on it, but I think that's prefer to send it directly to Jim's the chair.
Yeah, Jim's the chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I just found his address, Steve. I'll send it to you.
Great.
Jim's address for.
I'll send it out, to Jim Walton, ask him to share it with the rest of the FinCom. I'll copy Becky and I'll copy all of you so you can see what the current one is that we're submitting.
Wonderful. All right, coming to you now.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Congratulations once again on wrapping up a good fiscal year into an even better one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did well with this, and you know, we still have a lot of work ahead of us with the transition, but the outcome is all good.
Yep.
So, all right, I'll see most of you
And
next week. Craig,
and-
safe
And our
travels.
next regular meeting is
March
March
16th.
16th, I guess.
March 16th.
Okay.
So we can, if I'm quizzed by Leverett folk, I can talk about this in some detail. Yeah.
Feel free.
Leverett's in a lot, yeah, I know why they're not going to be able to reduce rates anytime soon because of the way their debt is structured. So we're very fortunate to have done it the way we did.
Hey, Jim, make sure you don't upset them. Don't have them complaining to HGE that somehow or other, you wouldn't want some political push from the side. I don't know. It's kind of like,
Yeah, Jim, on
What-
second thought, I'm thinking, you know, you can of course tell them that we're going with Sheld.
Mhm.
That's public. Let's keep the pricing details private for now.
Yeah, I hadn't
know?
intended to talk to them.
Okay.
But,
Oh, good,
you know,
okay.
I do,
Yeah.
as you know, I know a lot of folk in Leverett, and
Yeah.
the subject could come up, and I just didn't know what I should or should not say.
Yeah, again, just tell them about our choice, you know, and the kind of talking points are that Crocker has served us well, but the pricing and services that Sheld offers are a better match for us going forward.
Mhm.
And we can share all of the details. We can share the whole contract, but not until it's inked, which is probably
Yeah.
going to be another 2 months.
Sure.
Sounds good.
well,
Which is why we ought to be discreet about most everything that we're talking about here with the
totally
general public.
you convinced me, Jim.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll take care.
See you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.